All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at Unified MMA 50, which goes down on March the 31st. A very intriguing middleweight rematch. Excited to get into a lot of facets with this matchup here. We have KB Bhullar and Curtis Millender getting out there to test skills, and great getting to have Curtis on the show. How's your day going so far, Curtis?
It's just getting started, but so far so good.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear for sure, and I did mention in the intro there that this one is a rematch, and yeah, definitely seemed like the first one was largely inconclusive, just with it being like an accidental eye poke, no contest, like bit over a minute 30 seconds here. Does this almost feel like a first fight in a sense, just because you didn't really get like that much cage time with him, or were you able to, I guess, like get some semblance of takeaways from that fight that maybe you didn't have before?
No, I definitely have enough information to go into the second fight completely comfortable that I'm going to be able to do whatever I want to him. Just the few exchanges we had, just watching his mannerisms, seeing how he reacted to my my coach's coaching. It's going to be an easy night at work for me.
And I'm curious about that because you kind of had that characterization in the first fight as well, like, you know, not feeling that KB Bhullar poses any real threat to you. Like, what is it that you're seeing that I guess is making you think that? Like, it seems like, I mean, obviously you'd be very confident in your own individual abilities, but like, I guess, why do you, I guess, see this fight as something that might be like a relatively, I guess, easier fight maybe compared to your previous fights, for lack of a better way to phrase it?
It's just when guys, with fellow strikers, I don't feel the one attribute that I feel that gives me an issue as far as striking goes. He doesn't have that, and I felt that in him. I'm not gonna say it out loud, but he doesn't have that one attribute that kind of put me like on my heels a little bit as far as striking goes. So if he plans to stand and be long and rangy with me, I'm gonna have my way with him.
I was gonna say, like, it seems like you're very much taking well to like being at 185 now. Like, it seems like you feel really great in that division. Like, is that some? I mean, obviously, like 170 doesn't seem like something you're totally closing the door on. But does being at 185 add a little something extra to what you've been doing lately? Like, I'd imagine you feel like more replenished and energized. Like, is that benefiting you recently?
Yes, it definitely does add extra food. It's a great. Anytime you don't have to do a crazy diet to get down an extra 15 pounds, it's going to make me feel good. So,
yeah, I definitely love to hear that. And I'm kind of wondering because, like, that was your first time competing in Canada, like the previous fight. Like, I mean, obviously, like we were saying, kind of like an inconclusive, relatively brief fight and all. But, like, how was the, I guess, first experience kind of coming through and everything like that?
Well, for the most part, I love Canada. It was fun being there. I got to find the right kind of food. That's the only thing I didn't really enjoy too much was the food. And then coming off of having to cut weight and diet, not being able to enjoy the food is a big thing. But other than that, like I loved it there. It was a little cold. I'm not sure if it's going to be as cold as it was last time or colder. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was going to say, not to put a damper on things, but I would probably hazard to guess it would be a bit colder this time.
I'll just bring an extra jacket.
I'm curious about the food, though. What were you eating after that wasn't really doing it for you, I guess?
I had, my coach, he's Canadian. So he's Canadian-American. So, he enjoyed La Poutine, the gravy and the fries. I'm not a big fan of it. But we had a restaurant inside the casino that was pretty good. That was probably like the best thing I had. There was a Chinese food restaurant that was, it just happened to be closed, and I was really excited about eating. So that's where we're going to eat this time, if it's open. But, I don't know, it's just weird, like, just things were, like, slightly different.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're...
This food, I guess, too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, poutine is a lot. Like, it kind of reads like someone was, like, really stoned or something when they made it. It's, like, gravy and cheese curds and all that. But, yeah, no, I can kind of get that. I'm kind of wondering, though, did you get to... Obviously, it was a business trip, but, I mean, did you get to do any, like, pseudo, like, touristy kind of stuff? Like, I know the West Edmonton Mall is out there. Did you get to check that out, or was it just kind of, like, mostly keeping to the venue and hotel type thing?
You know, it was... I had a lot of weight to cut, so I had to spend a lot of time cutting the weight. So this time, I'm in way better shape. Definitely won't have that much weight to cut, so I probably have a few hours to go and kind of explore a little bit more. I didn't really do too much, and then it was really cold too. I'm not a fan of the cold, so it was kind of hard getting out. But I'd rather, no matter how cold it is this time, I'm gonna try to step out and probably go look for a mall or something.
Yeah, West Edmonton Mall is fun. They've got a couple neat little things there. I mean, I'm not necessarily the biggest, like, mall guy, but it reads as, like, one of those things to check out, you know, at least once. But I did want to touch on, you know, your last fight as much as you've got an exciting one coming up here. I mean, just the last one seemed like a big one, just, you know, collecting that UNF middleweight title towards the end of January there and getting the second round finish and just kind of getting back into the win column there as well. Just all factors considered, like, what were your, I guess, main thoughts and takeaways from that last fight?
You know, I'm still definitely riding a high from that. Winning a championship the way I did, it just add more extra motivation. You know, this is also my last year, so the goals that I have set for this last year of fighting is just to be dominant and destroy everybody put in front of me. So I'm kind of deflated that this isn't going to be a title fight anymore. So, but, you know, I'm still going to go out there and, you know, whoop his ass.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. Was there any dialogue at any point about the middleweight title being attached to this fight, or not so much?
I know he was the last champion, even before after he got back from UFC. So I'm not too sure why it's not. But, you know, it is what it is. I'll go out there and put on the performance and then go back later this year and get it from somebody else.
Yeah, and I don't know if I misheard you there, but it sounded like you were saying this is your last year of fighting. Does this mean combat sports overall, or just MMA more so?
Yeah, combat sports overall. I'm going to, just take the competitor hat off and, you know, focus on my kids and their development and their sports. I have some teammates that can really utilize my knowledge. So, you know, I'm just, it's not the same. You know, I sit around and I think about, okay, you know, okay, let's try to make one more round. But a big part of it is the compensation. Like, I can't put my family through that again. You know, I sacrificed a lot. It was very expensive to, you know, put a run like that, like I did together to get to the UFC, and it's just not the same. My son was a size 12 now, so I can't bring home $3,000 or $4,000 a fight and, you know, take time off from working for him to for me to try to make another run right now. Especially, you know, just being realistic, being a 35-year-old man, UFC is not going to find 36-year-old guys. They're finding 18-year-olds now, you know.
I mean, just being family-minded, though, I mean, I definitely can understand that. Very altruistic, and that's what's ultimately most important in life. I guess I just thought to ask because it seemed like you were, I guess, you know, looking to, like, stay busy in boxing. Like, you had, like, that, you know, debut effort there and everything, and I guess I was kind of thinking, like, oh, maybe Curtis is looking to kind of, you know, go in this direction a little bit. Like, maybe not solely in boxing, but at least concurrently with, like, that and MMA. So I guess I was maybe off base there, like, maybe not looking to, like, you know, get in a few, like, boxing fights under the belt, as it were.
It's crazy. Like, you would think, you know, the things I've done in MMA and, you know, the style of fighter I am, you would think I'd be able to get, like, one of these circus fights where all these dudes are getting all this money to, you know, fight these YouTube guys and fight other veterans. And I'm not getting any love like that, which is crazy. So, like, you know, big thing is for me, I'm not going to fight for pennies. I'm not going to fight for scraps. I need, you know, if I'm going to do this, I need to, you know, be confident and put my life on the line. And they're putting somebody else's life on the line. You know, I'm going to bounce my shin off everybody's head. So, that's the biggest thing.
it's kind of curious because you talk about not getting these, like, I mean, for lack of a better way to phrase it, maybe like novelty kind of fights almost, or something in that like influencer boxing space or whatever. It seemed like you were looking to like get a Triad Combat 2 fight going with, Sadia Parker, and obviously that didn't end up coming to fruition. So like there's been no like subsequent dialogue with like Triller or anything like that, because I feel like they're kind of interwoven into that whole scene a fair bit.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to that. I was hoping that was going to go somewhere, but from what I hear, they ran out of money or something like that and couldn't do the show. So I just got to focus and get the opportunities that are in front of me. And right now, these are it. Being able to fight for the smaller shows and just really, just the whole goal is, go 5-0 this year. And when I let everybody know I'm done, I want them like, I want to say, oh, well, why are you leaving? You're still at the top of your shit. Because I'm not going to take any easy fights. Like, I'm still going to fight guys that, that should be on a level with me. So that's the plan. When I retire, like, why are you leaving? I want them to beg me to leave. Beg me to stay here.
Yeah, and I guess to the point of that whole Triller thing, like, it seems like they're mostly focusing on like BKFC now and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's their primary focus right now, and I mean, I don't necessarily know that would be of your interest, but I mean, perhaps. I don't really know, I guess.
Absolutely not. I can without my hands turning to dust sometimes. So no bare knuckle for me.
Yeah, no, that is fair. I guess I did want to touch on the boxing fight, though, because it seemed like it was like an important one in a lot of regards, like just in the sense of having it under that FCOC banner. Like, you have that familiarity there, like having won like a welterweight title with that outfit and everything like that. And you also fought Mercurio in mixed martial arts, who you'd competed with there, and it seemed like it was like in the same venue as like where you collected some like meaningful MMA wins at the hangar and everything like that. So just like all factors considered, like, was that like a pretty, I guess, meaningful, like, personal kind of win for you?
Yeah, I actually, that's why I started my MMA career. I actually matchmake for them. I do the commentary for them. Like, that's like home sweet home. I plan to retire there as well. So December 2nd of this year, that's where my retirement fight will be. I do a lot of work with them. So it only made sense if I wasn't going to get a boxing fight anywhere else to, debut boxing there too. So.
Yeah, for sure. Glad you had that moment and are kind of like navigating, like, ending your career off there. That would, be a good way to end off the story. But like, you're talking about like wanting to be active in this last year as you're kind of looking to, put together a run where people are like wanting you to, stay around. Like, to that point, it seems like you'd be wanting to be fairly active. Like, do you have maybe a multi-fight agreement with Unified here? Is it just this one fight and then maybe like try to lock in another one relatively shortly thereafter? Like, what's that like?
We don't have a multi-fight contract, but they understand that I want to come back in June and either defend the middleweight title or complete champ status and get that 170 title in June. And then hopefully, come back to Canada in the fall and, fight again there. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's cool. It seems like you've taken a liking to coming out here and stuff like that. I guess like they're providing you like a good quality of competition and stuff like that. So I would think that would be the predominant part of it. But, good to hear that Canada's going to be getting a little bit of Curtis Millender in the future.
I've taken a look at their top 10 middleweights in Canada on Topology. So I feel like there's some fun matchups there. If I was to come back in the fall, do it again. I just want to stay active now. So I've already had one this year, getting ready to have my second one. One coming up in June. So I gotta fill in. I gotta find one more.
Yeah, for sure. Good to hear you're looking to stay active and everything, and good to, see that they're, hopefully there's not another ending like the first one, but some closure on this, KB Bhullar rematch and stuff like that. So it seems like an exciting time in your career. And to that point, I appreciate you, giving such great insights and making time to, talk about a lot of that stuff. I guess like one last thing I kind of wanted to touch on. I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't. You strike me as a guy who's into the wrestling. Like, it seems like you're into like Orange Cassidy and all that kind of stuff. Like, what are you following nowadays in wrestling that's like, I guess, getting you fired up? Is there like a character or particular storyline you're digging?
It is right. We are deep into WrestleMania season, and I live in Orange County, so it's funny. This fight was originally supposed to be March 3rd, this past weekend. They switched it to March 31st. So my flight back, I have to get the earliest flight because I'm leaving straight from the airport straight to SoFi Stadium for the first night of WrestleMania. So I'm going to be, that weekend is going to be a pretty fun weekend. I had to beat KB up, come home, go to WrestleMania 2 nights in a row. I'm going the first night by myself just because of circumstances of me traveling back into town, and then the second I take my sons.
That's awesome. I presume they're big into the wrestling and stuff, and you're kind of showing them the proverbial ropes, eh?
Yeah, these last maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, they're more excited now because it's like WrestleMania season, but they're starting to grow out of it a little bit until we go to shows. But when we go to shows, they go right back into being like super fans like I am.
And is this like the first time going to like WrestleMania in person for you, or have you been before? I'm kind of curious about all that. It seems like such a bucket list thing for any wrestling fan to do.
No, this is my third Mania.
Which other ones were you at?
Just WrestleMania at the Anaheim Pond when Shawn Michaels came down from the Raptors. I'm a huge WrestleMania fan.
Oh yeah,
that was my first Mania. I'm excited. This is definitely going to be just a lot cooler because it's, the spectacle that it is now. 2 days. I'm a little sad that I'm going to miss all the festivities leading up to WrestleMania. I was really looking more forward to that stuff. Just all the build up before WrestleMania. But maybe next year I'll take a trip to Mania somewhere else. So that's another big goal of mine is to go to WrestleMania in a different state and get the whole travel experience for it.
Yeah, it's just fun that you went from, seeing the boyhood dream come true with Shawn Michaels to, taking your boys out to WrestleMania. It's like kind of full circle a little bit.
Yeah, definitely so. So, they're excited. They're smart kids. So now they know now that they're not going for the first night. At first, originally, they were going the first night with me, and I was going the second night with my buddies. So we had to switch it around. So now they're a little bit more excited because they want to see Roman. They know Roman and Cody Rhodes are going to be the second night. So they're excited.
Yeah, for sure. A lot to be excited about in the world of wrestling, but also MMA for sure. So yeah, no, appreciate you giving insights into a lot of those different topics, man. And yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show, but I do want to be, considerate to your schedule too. So is there any like parting final thought you might want to add as we're wrapping up here, man?
Oh, man, just can't wait to Canada. Can't wait to get to Canada and do what I was put here to do and beat KB up. And, get back here for WrestleMania.
It's going to be a great fight and very much excited for Unified MMA 50 on March the 31st there, and this should be a very intriguing rematch with KB Bhullar. And yeah, to reiterate, I appreciate you making some time and coming on, man. Looking forward to peeping this when it goes down, but until then, you have a good rest of your day, Curtis.
Awesome, you do the same.